Hello everyone. The last time that I spoke on camera that you would have seen, because I have actually done a bit of filming this week, but some of it I weren't on camera, and you're not going to see the footage, by the way. I mean, I've got some footage that I'm keeping in case I can use it at another point regarding something that's going on, but I did try and film a vlog to put up today, but I ended up with too much footage. I wasn't in the majority of it, and I was like, I don't have the time to edit it, I don't have the time to go through the footage and find something that I can put together to use, so nothing's gone up today. But like I said, I will do what I can when I can. I'm not gonna make myself ill or put myself out or spend time that I don't have just to get a video up. If I can get a video up, I can. If I can't, I can't. So I did think about filming yesterday. Oh, it was yesterday I didn't get a video up. So have I not got a video up today? Oh, I did get a video up yesterday. So I did film Tuesday for it to go up today, but I've just not had the time or the mental capacity to do it. And then I thought I might be able to film yesterday. But yesterday, basically I can't talk about yesterday because I went to something and signed a confidentiality agreement, which basically means what was discussed, I cannot discuss. Not that I would discuss it on this particular platform. I would maybe discuss it on a private platform, but I wouldn't discuss it on here. But I may have said something, but not much. But I can't. All I can say is I can't speak about it, which, like I've just said, but I can't believe I did what I did, because I was out of my comfort zone in the biggest way possible, in a room sat next to someone that scares the crap out of me, and that is all I can say. And I was shaking, like, I was like, do you know when you're shaking, it's like a little shake, you can feel it all through your body. But I did it, and it messed with my head for the rest of the day what I'd been talking about, like. So I wasn't in a great headspace yesterday, and I was like, I didn't even think to film after that point, because in like the day before I was like, do you know what, I'll film Wednesday, I don't think I'm going to be able to edit what I filmed on Tuesday, there's too much, I'll just film, like, I'll go to the dog walk. And actually when I got to the dog walk, was I here? Don't know where I was. Yeah, I was here. Because I actually didn't mean to come here today, but there's stuff going on in my head, and I ended up here, and I was like, oh, I didn't plan on coming here today, but I'm here anyway, so I'm not going to go anywhere else, obviously. But I did think when I get here, I'll just film, but I totally forgot, went on the walk because I just needed to clear my head. And then there's nothing on up today, but that's life at the end of the day. I'm not in a great headspace at the moment. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of why. Yesterday I was obviously messed with my head. There's just a lot going on, there's a lot to take in. Then I had a phone call last night that I didn't expect. I'd asked for the phone call whenever it was. Then when I didn't get it, I sent an email to someone, the supervisor basically, the like above them. I mean, which people aren't very happy about the fact that I am able to contact someone so high up. But if I don't get contact from someone lower down, of course I'm going to go as high up as I can, because I know I'm going to get a response from that person, basically. And it's funny how, like, I contacted them and the next day I get this phone call. Anyway, I got this phone call, and like what I'm talking about in this phone call is messing with my head as well, because it's not very pleasant stuff. So I was pretty much very down yesterday. Went to bed earlier than normal, like a lot earlier, but I was tired, I was drained. I didn't have much sleep the night before, like I'd had about 4.5 hours. Didn't have much sleep last night, so I'm just tired, which doesn't help with my mood. What else can I say? Like, life's difficult, and you have to have difficult conversations that make you feel worse because you're talking about stuff that's making you feel the way that it's making you feel. I mean, and people say talk about how you're feeling and stuff, but it doesn't always make you feel better. Like, it doesn't. It's just stressful, and it can and does make you feel worse. So literally a dog is literally just sat there nowhere near its owner. It's refusing to go to own. It's like, no, I'm staying here, I'm going to do what I want, just like that little madam does. So I mean, she wouldn't sit there, she'd run off if she was not on a lead, and she wouldn't come back, because that's what Huskies do. So I'm going to get out of the car in a few minutes. I really want to talk about Rich Sambora, but I know I'll talk about him for longer than a couple of minutes. Literally, the owner's now walking back to the dog, and they've got quite a distance to walk to the dog just to get the dog, because the dog's refusing to move. I love the fact that the dog knows its own mind. It's like, no, you're going to come to me, you're going to put me on the lead, and you're going to make me walk back to the car. Love that dog. Just totally reminds me of her. She does what she wants and like ignores every command. Do you know what? I've talked about this man before. He has a thing about my Husky. He always goes out of his way to come towards us, even if we're walking away from him. Because I do walk away from him, because there's sometimes he talks at me and I can't get away from him, and I'm a lot of the time limited for time. Yesterday I saw him with his wife and they were going the opposite direction, and I'm thinking, thank God, and I was going totally opposite. Well, I was in the same area, but they were going straight and I was going round, so we weren't meant to cross paths. And then he started heading towards us, and I'm thinking, oh my God, no. And he's like, is that such and such? He always has a name because he knows a name. And I'm thinking, oh God, I'm going to be stuck here for ages. So she carries on walking, turns around and just stares at him, and he's the one with Bob the dog. And she wants to get to Bob, but Bob just wants to play with his ball. Bob's not interested in the dog or any other dog. She wants more than anything to get to Bob, and he's like, come and say hello, Bob. Bob's just like, no, I just want to play with my ball. I don't want to go to the dog. Fair enough, some dogs don't. But she's desperately trying to get to him. So he walks over, grabs the lead, lower down, because I won't let go of that lead, and drags her to him. And I know for a fact she doesn't like that. And I'm trying to be polite about this situation, but he keeps doing this every time I see him. And she doesn't want to be dragged close to him and held on a very short lead. So she's trying to pull away, he's grabbing hold of her. And I'm thinking there's going to be a situation here, because she's going to let him know she doesn't want this at some point. And he's stroking her, and she's trying to get to Bob. Then he realises she's started to molt, because it's coming up to molting season for Huskies. I don't know when other dogs molt. Do you know what? Different dogs do different things. So then he starts pulling the loose fur out, which I'm not happy about, because, you know, we stood outside. I sometimes pull a fur out that's loose, because you do. I normally stroke her and stroke it out, but I know she doesn't particularly want. She won't let me do it for long. She doesn't really want it done. But if it's loose and it's hanging out, you do pull on it, because that's what you do. Whatever, you don't want your dog's fur just hanging out, because then it'll just fall out in random places, and most people do it. If you take her to the groomers do it. So he's pulling these clumps out, and then he pulled a bit that wasn't loose, and she weren't happy about it, and she tried to spin around to get away from him, and he just grabbed hold of her really tightly and carried on. His wife came over, started to speak to me, so then I'm not looking at what's going on, and she's like, oh, all he does is go on about your dog, I think he wants a Husky. And I'm like, all right, they're really hard work, they need attention all the time, you can't let them off the lead, because he keeps thinking I'm out of order not letting him off the lead, and I keep telling him, you need to read about Huskies, you cannot train them to come back. And he doesn't believe me, and I'm like, if I could train her to come back, I'd happily have her off the lead, because I'm being dragged the whole time. She leaps at things, she's pulling me constantly. I would happily train her, but you can't train her. Google it. He doesn't listen to me every single time we have this conversation, and it gets frustrating, because he's still not letting her off the lead, and I'm like, I cannot physically let her off the lead, because she would never come back. And he tells me to do it, and he's like, I'll help you get her. I'm like, she won't get back. We won't ever be able to catch her. It'll be a nightmare. So she's talking away to me, and all of a sudden the dog yells, spins round and pushes him away. He leaps up, because it's clearly got hold of some fur that's not loose. You can tell what's loose and what is loose. And he just marches off. She's like, oh, we'll leave you to it. And I went by, and he just totally blanked me, because he clearly wasn't happy that the dog weren't allowing him to pull out fur that isn't bloody loose. Do you know what I mean? It's not bloody loose fur. So I'm dreading that I'm actually going to bump into this bloke today. I'm here earlier than yesterday, so I'm hoping we don't cross paths. But yesterday, it was earlier than the last time I bumped into him, so I don't think he has a particular walking routine. But the walk, her favourite walk, we actually walked past his house, because he lives in a house, obviously lives in a house. But we walked past his house and I'm thinking, I hope he don't come out, I hope he don't see me, because I've seen him very close to his house, like maybe like a 20-second walk from his house, and I'm thinking, don't come out your house, I hope he don't see us, like, and I shouldn't think that, but he literally grabs hold of the lead. She doesn't want him to do that. She wants to just be able to get to Bob, and if she isn't able to get to Bob because I've got hold of her on the lead, she doesn't want him getting hold of the lead really low down and forcing her to allow him to stroke her. And if Bob came to her, she would be happy for him to stroke her, but, and I'm like, oh, she doesn't like really want to, like, I always say like, oh, she just wants to go to Bob, she doesn't really want to be stroked, but he won't have any of it, and he's not listening to me. And like I said, I tried to avoid him, and he's literally walking over to me, and his wife was like not happy because she just wanted to go on the walk. So I'm literally dreading him bumping into Bob's dad. I know his name because she said his name. Well, she actually accidentally called him Bob and then corrected herself and called him by his name. But now I'm dreading bumping into this bloody bloke, and like, he obviously walks wherever, like, he must come down here. But yeah, we went on her favourite walk and we did walk past his house. Luckily we didn't bump into him up there, but do you know what I mean? How do you politely tell someone, like, I don't really want you to yank my dog's fur out? Like, I did say to him, like, she won't let me do it, because she won't. She'll let me pull a few bits out and then she's like, yeah, I've had enough. Unless she's occupied doing something, she won't let me sit there and get all the loose fur off her. It's like we have a battle over her being brushed. Like, I had to follow around the house for about 20 minutes just to manage to brush her for like a minute. Like, it's just her. Like, she doesn't want all this stuff doing to her. So, and I'm not happy that, like, you can clearly see what's loose and what's not loose. And on 2 occasions yesterday, he's yanking on fur that isn't bloody loose. I wouldn't be happy either. Right, I'm gonna go. I hope you're all okay. I hope you're having a great week. You'll see me again at some point, hopefully.